Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me, my co-host, Ian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Joseph.
Yellow.
And Jehu.
I got top billing on the
There
review.
There you go. What do we got for news there, Ian?
So a bunch of cool stuff, some stuff, trailers from the Super Bowl and some general news. The first thing is Taron Egerton is going to star in a Little Shop of Horrors reboot, which is he just won the Golden Globe for Rocket Man, and he's been in the Kingsman movies. I don't know if he's not in the next one though, because that's a prequel,
right? Yeah.
But I like he's in Eddie the Eagle. So I don't know this movie though. I know you're familiar with it.
Friggin' love Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. It's the music's great, and just like the whole setting, scenery. It's
What's the concept?
Weird.
Because I really have no idea.
Was this on our cult classics list?
It should have been.
It should have been if we didn't.
It is about a guy by the name of Seymour, and he's in love with a girl named Audrey, who also works in the plant shop, and he is just a nobody. And one day, there's a eclipse, and he's at this like exotic plant store, and he finds this thing that he thinks is like a really cool looking Venus flytrap, but it's actually an alien, and it eats people. And he uses that to win over the love of his life.
But yeah, it's a dark comedy. The original had Rick Moranis and Steve Martin in it.
Yeah. Bill Murray's got a great cameo in it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll look out for that.
And it's a remake of like a 60s film, but this is the 80s version's a musical.
There's been various musicals. I think Jonathan Groff starred in a review of it recently.
I think he's
of Mindhunter's fame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of fame, I would say.
Oh.
Probably Frozen more. But Taron would be a good choice for Seymour.
Taron's a good choice for a lot of things. I think he's pretty versatile with what he's done. He could be James Bond, and then he could play like, a Stephen Hawking kind of nerdier type. He could do a little bit of everything. So the next thing is they're going to do sounds like a reboot of Transformers, and it sounds like there's 2 scripts in development. I hear one is
different films.
2 different films, and it sounds like it's going to break off and be its own thing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to get a Bumblebee sequel, which is kind of surprising because the first one didn't do great.
No,
I think it still turned a profit.
I didn't hear that one. I heard the Beast Wars.
So
one.
they're going to do 2. The rumor is there's a Bumblebee sequel, and then there's going to do a full Transformers reboot where they're going to do Beast Wars, which was not a good cartoon.
It's not. It's one of those things that for like you and me specifically, like. And probably you. It's about that age where like the Transformers that was on TV.
That was our Transformers.
Was Beast Wars, and I loved the fuck out of that. And it was the first show that streaming ruined for me.
Right.
Because when they put it on Netflix, I was like, oh yeah, this shit was dope. And then I started watching, and I'm like, 2 episodes is like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It is terrible.
It's nigh unwatchable.
I mean, the thing is, it's a whole lot better than the original Transformers show as far as writing and story, and it's still terrible. And that being said, I watch the original Transformers show all the time just to watch robots turn into cars.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's... It's weird because Beast Wars does have this really devoted fan base. I just don't know if there's enough of them to really...
Do you guys remember the sequel one where like they went back to Cybertron and they were like actually animals?
Yeah.
Like not just robots that looked like animals.
Right.
That one was real dark and weird, if I remember it correctly. I don't know how you make this a movie.
On the one hand, I'm super excited about a Bumblebee sequel.
Yeah.
I fucking loved Bumblebee.
Well, I like the aesthetic a lot in Bumblebee. Like if that was our new starting point for our Transformers franchise, like the G1 version of Optimus looks badass on screen. I liked keeping Bumblebee the Volkswagen.
The thing with Bumblebee was like the action was so much better than the Michael Bay ones, which are like quick cutting shots and you can't tell what's going on. I remember in Bumblebee, there's the Decepticon's an airplane and he's fighting like Bumblebee, and you could tell like where he transformed. It was like so much more clear.
Well, because it's
in either
it's
the
just
CGI
smaller scope.
You know what I mean. And less is more sometimes. I mean, you already got huge Transformer robots. Do you need 6-on-6? Like even if you do a 1-on-1. You can make it super cool.
Well, and also, Bumblebee just had more of an emotional connection. Like, I would have cared if Bumblebee died in that movie, where multiple times Transformers died in those movies. And just nobody gives a fuck. Like, Optimus Prime, oh, Jazz. Like, and he's holding him in 2 pieces. I feel like if I was, like, 6, that would be fucking disturbing.
Yeah. He just ripped that dude apart.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I bet only one of these gets made, though.
Yeah. Transformers.
And unfortunately, I think it'll be the Beast Wars one.
That sucks.
Because Bumblebee didn't really make a lot of money, I don't think. I think it did okay, but it wasn't.
There definitely is heavy nostalgia in the right market for Beast Wars. I think that would lean heavily in its favor.
And Michael Bay's ruined it. I mean, they've gotten diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Since like the second one.
I will say, so that like there's like, again, the story of that show is incomprehensible, but there is one transformation of Gorilla Optimus where he has like a fucking hoverboard for no reason, and that was super dope. So if they bring that in, I'm game.
I think that shows like that make good writers when they grow up. Because I know watching Transformers as a kid, like watching them now, I realize that as a kid, I was just writing patches to make that shit make sense.
Yeah. The next thing is Hamilton. Disney's going to release the movie, and I can't. It's going to be original cast, but is it going to be like a recording of the performance?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
A live recording of the Broadway musical.
Okay, so dope. It's going to be official. I thought they were saying the original cast in a movie setting, but it's going to be
in the theater.
Okay,
yeah.
And I think that, I mean, from what everyone says, it's great and it's still selling out. So I mean, that'll probably do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like the number one show on Broadway right now, and I'm a huge fan of the music of Hamilton. And I'm a huge fan of musicals in general. I think this is the way to do them.
It's that rap music that, you know.
It is that rap music.
That's what, like, that he's
Are
popular.
Are you 80? Like, how are you older than me?
But
rap music.
In the Heights is the other one that's coming out right now.
That's correct, but that's an actual movie.
Yeah. But
also Lin-Manuel.
Same kind of format, you know what I mean?
Yeah, written by the same dude. That's why.
And he's in Mary Poppins, so he's kind of in the Disney family.
He's writing the new music for the new Little Mermaid.
Interesting.
And he wrote the music for Moana.
A lot of good things that guy's done.
Yeah.
Next is Owen Wilson cast in
weird news.
Yeah, in the weirdest MCU casting since Christian Bale. Loki.
Really wasn't that long ago.
I know, that's what I mean. He's cast in the Loki Disney Plus series. Any thoughts on that? I mean, what do you guys think?
Oh, wow.
Well,
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
someone had to do it.
My views on this is it's hard to really talk about what I think the casting is without talking about the Super Bowl trailer, so I'll just go ahead and get into that. The big thing at the end of the Super Bowl trailer is Loki's in a jumpsuit, that looks like a prison jumpsuit, and he says this line of, "I'm going to burn this place to the ground," like Loki would. But he has a logo on his shirt that says TVA, and that's not the Tennessee Valley Association. That is the Time Variance Authority. And that's
what a great name.
Man, it's really like, there was like a comic in-joke that they built an even more comic book in-joke out of when the Time Variance Authority. Because this character shows up in an issue of Thor who's basically like, kind of taking a dig at sort of Judge Dredd / DC's Peacemaker. And he casually mentions something called the Time Variance Authority. Well, later it shows up in Thor, and it's basically exactly like, the second season premiere of Rick and Morty where they've broken time and the Keegan Keys nutsack guy shows up. It's exactly that. So there's a few guys that come from that I could see Owen Wilson being. First of all, just in general, the Time Variance Authority was like, there was these agents in it that were sort of like Men in Black agents, and they were all the same guy, and they were all drawn to look like a specific Marvel editor who was like the continuity guy at Marvel. So he could very well be that guy, which means he would play like hundreds of people. There's the Judge Dredd type character I talked up, Justice Peace is name. He could, and Judge Peace is like sort of this ridiculous caricature of like, the 80s tough guy, take no prisoners type guy. So he could easily be that guy. And there's also like this, who's not in the Time Variance Authority, but Marvel has this Doctor Who knockoff character that I can't remember his name, but I know there's some stories of his that play into the Time Variance Authority that he could very well be that guy too. And all three of those things like could be played for laughs and could be Owen Wilson.
Yeah. All I think this really tells us is that we have no idea what this show is going to be.
No, but obviously they're going for the more comedic tone here.
Yeah.
See, I think it's the first thing that really gives me an idea of what it is going to be.
Yeah.
Because... Go ahead.
No. I think that these guys are going to come in, and he sounds to me like the clone guy. I think that's played for laughs, and Owen Wilson probably has like, he's probably ruling under the justice of the Justice Peace, and he's got a million Owen Wilsons. It's kind of like his Men in Black.
I like the idea of like happy-go-lucky middle management Owen Wilson coming in to, confront Loki, who's like super serious and Shakespearean language, like trying to take over the fucking world, and at every turn Owen Wilson just like thwarting him and foiling all of his plots, and
because he did break time, what I mean. So it makes sense out of Endgame, and it makes me like Endgame a little more. That this is like I can get behind this. There's some repercussions for like the time travel.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like at the end of it, if they kind of left the time thing a mess, and I think we talked about it at the time, it's like, did they leave it a mess because it was just lazy, or are they left in a mess so they can do stories about the mess? Yep. And I think that's what it is.
Yep. And I think Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness, I mean, it does make me, if they do good stuff with this time travel issue, it will retroactively make me like Endgame more.
Yeah, I just think this show's going to be zany and weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't, I think the tone you'll get, I don't even know it'll be the same as Ragnarok. I just feel like it's going to be really different than anything we've seen so far from that character and from this universe.
Right. It sounds like Doctor Who, because I think they cast a girl as like the female lead, and it's probably those two traveling through time and getting chased by Owen Wilson.
I mean,
and that sounds cool to me.
Tom Hiddleston would make a good Doctor Who.
He would.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted him to be Doctor Who.
So we'll see. And then that kind of ties into, we start that was part with the Super Bowl trailers we kind of want to transition to. And, we're already talking about the Disney Plus one. Anything else that stands out to you guys?
WandaVision looks bonkers.
I love it.
It does. It looks crazy.
If Loki looks zany and weird, this looks dark and weird,
Oh, it's definitely going to be dark.
And I'm super down for it.
Definitely those two cribs. If Wanda has kids in the MCU, that shit is on. Because, like Wanda having kids in, Marvel Comics takes some real dark fucking turns. So, but it could also branch out to some cool things. So yeah, I liked the look of this a lot.
The aesthetics clearly immediately I was like Brady Bunch, Roseanne, like you can totally see like where they're going with it. Mm-hmm. Seems very stylized, which I think is cool.
I immediately went to Full House, which her sisters were in.
Yeah, right.
There's no way that's not a reference in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I also love that they did the comic accurate old school costume in there. Of the three of them, I liked all the stuff from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was just the other two were far more interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I was reading about it today, and it's only 6 WandaVision, which makes me think it's going to be like a good story.
Right.
There's no filler, like it's going to be legit. They're trying to tell a contained. They have a good idea.
Yeah, 6 is a good number.
Yeah.
So, and then I saw U.S. Agent. I think he's looked like he was marching onto a football field.
Yeah.
And his costume looked pretty cool. So we'll see.
It looks like the Captain America costume mixed with some of the aesthetic they did for Iron Patriot. That's
Yep. The only thing I was nervous about, when I watched it with Joseph live, is that they didn't date anything, which makes me. And for the Super Bowl
ad,
ad,
said coming soon.
Yeah, you figure they would have dated one of them on a. That makes me think it's far away.
I think if you date one, I think it creates the challenge of separating, differentiating all three. Since you packaged them together, you avoid the confusion and not date any of it.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. So I'm excited for it, though.
It's still a lot of money to pay for a coming soon.
Oh, agreed. Disney can afford it, though. They're fine.
They own the world. Top Gun. Would you guys? I mean,
it's a cool trailer.
I think we're all pretty positive on this.
Yeah.
Which, if you told me a long time ago that they were making a sequel, I didn't think we would be positive on it.
I can't remember if we've officially confirmed before this that it's Goose's son, but it's definitely Goose's son.
This does confirm that he's Goose's son, and he looks like Goose. And Rooster, I guess it's another bird call sign, so that should have been a clue.
I don't know. I'm really excited.
I know it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think I like Tom Cruise a lot now. So. And I kind of like Miles. This is going to turn me on Miles Teller, I think. God, give me a mustache.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go that
far. So we'll see about that. Mulan, talk about bananas. This looked bananas. Like, there's witches and people running up walls, and she's, kicking arrows out with a backflip. But I'm into it.
There kind of hadn't been much, indication it was going. It seemed like it was going to be more grounded before this.
Yeah, I think we kind of have seen the witch stuff in
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, it did feel I'm still really excited for this movie, but they wanted to make a more faithful, retelling than I'm on board with that. I think that's great. But now you're including like a witch who can turn into a falcon, and people can run up walls.
And is this for kids anymore? Because it did not feel like a kid movie.
I don't think it looked like kids.
I don't know that it is.
I've definitely mentioned I'm not sure who this movie is for, like what demographic you're targeting here.
I think it's for people who were 8 in 1997.
Okay,
For.
Because some of them are still meant for kids. Like Lion King was still, but this one looks like it's more for. You're right. It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's what it evoked to me.
I don't actually feel like any of the remakes have really been for kids. Like as a person who has small children, my kid, what they can see of that Lion King movie is very controlled because, seeing it, and same thing for Beauty and the Beast. Like all of it becomes way more intimidating when it's real.
Yeah.
So it is, and maybe I'm just really conscientious. I don't know, but.
Can I have some wussy-ass kids?
Possibly.
Carry on.
And
Alaska's only 2.
Yeah. James Bond, which, God, when I don't know what they're flying, like that hover, like look in the very beginning of this James Bond trailer, it's I don't know how to, it's something Lynch. Lashana Lynch from Captain Marvel. She's playing I think she's playing the new 007.
You were going to say Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, but she's playing the new 007 and then James Bond, and they're like some sort of crazy plane that doesn't look like it have an engine. It looks like it glides, kind of. And then, him just jumping off bridges, and I'm super excited for this movie. I know this has had a rough launch. We've talked about it
comes
before.
out pretty soon.
Like April, so like 2 months out.
And that's like the next thing I'm really looking forward to. So.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's not much you need for a Bond movie. It's like a good villain and like 3 good set pieces and stunts. That's it.
The only thing that made me nervous was this trailer was like, it will tie it all together.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, that does because they already tied it all.
I know.
We've already done that.
Don't make a bad movie because you want it to fit into this puzzle. Like, just make a good Bond movie.
Yeah.
But it's the 25th, so fingers crossed we get lucky and get a good one. And I think that's all the Super Bowl trailers. Then the last big trailer we want to talk about was the big one of the week, Fast 9, the Fast Saga. Saga? Yeah, Saga. Ridiculous. What did you guys think?
It's insane.
I mean, first off, I know we talk about this every time one comes out, but it's insane that there are 9 of these.
Yeah.
Right.
This franchise has survived for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's really only grown.
And but it kind of survived after almost not surviving.
Yeah.
Because I don't think if Vin Diesel would have came back for that cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift, we'd still be watching.
Yeah, that would
Absolutely.
be it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I love Tokyo Drift, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
But man, I think this trailer has 2 really big spoilers in it, which is shocking.
I mean, what are they holding back if they showed those 2 things,
John Cena did say that he is not the villain of the film, so there's maybe another character we don't know about.
Well, Charlize, maybe he's saying Charlize.
Yeah, Charlize Theron's the puppet master. Yeah.
And I don't know. Do I love Charlize Theron as a puppet master?
I mean, her haircut is somehow even worse than the last time.
Yeah, we learned that Dominic Toretto has a brother played by a very full-headed of hair John Cena.
Yep.
And that Han apparently is alive.
Yep.
And man, I would have loved for that to have happened in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bummer that Jason Statham isn't in this one because I really would want those 2 characters to interact.
Yeah.
I mean, my prediction going into this is where they kill off the Paul Walker character.
Yeah.
Why
else would Jordana Brewster be in as much as she is?
Well, I just feel like, these things are about very obvious themes. So if you're introducing this brother who's not really Dominic's brother in it, then that guy, it's got to somehow be his fault that Dominic's real brother dies.
Yeah.
Isn't
the kid's name Brian as well?
The kid's name is Brian as well.
Yeah.
So it's family.
I said in our group text, I swear to God, I thought there was a graphic in it that said, family is family. but Ian pointed out that it actually, family's not always blood or something like that. Or blood isn't always family.
Yeah.
It's all ridiculous bullshit. You were right.
At one point, a car rides a broken suspension bridge or something.
Correct.
There's a plane with a magnet that picks up a car in midair.
All fucking Tyrese's whole thing is you introduce some wacky technology and then he points it out. Oh, we got a plane with a magnet on it now.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a Coke can with a bomb in it. Oh, we've got a computer with a dog on it. Just whatever. He just picks 2 things and Tyrese, the main thing I'm worried most about this movie is where you've taken out Jason Statham, where, Paul Walker is, of course, gone. where you've taken out The Rock, it's just going to be a lot of fucking Vin Diesel and his diminishing ability to act.
Yeah.
He gets worse by the year.
See, like I said, I sent you guys that link. I think they're building 10 to be about Han, the struggle of Han.
Right.
I think like Statham and The Rock come back in the 10th one, and it's like Civil War. You got Dominic Toretto, his crew, and with Han, and then like Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Statham, and Luke Evans, and you bring back Helen. Wait, who's their mom?
Helen Mirren.
She's in this one too.
Yeah, and you do and then you bring back Vanessa Kirby, and then you do a literally family versus family because they're The Rock backs. Like Vin Diesel had a beer with Jason Statham at the end of 8. You know what I mean? So like I feel like that's where they're going.
Sometimes family fights
and,
family,
and you can just lean into it. But
I think you're probably right because Vin Diesel and The Rock can get over their problems if there's a big enough
But can Tyrese and The Rock get over their
Yeah, I mean Tyrese.
They could kill Tyrese in this
Tyrese is gone. Tyrese, they can get anybody to do Tyrese's.
I know. I don't know why he's the one who's in such an uproar, because if anyone is replaceable in that franchise, it's that guy.
Yeah.
It's him and, I hate to say it, but Ludacris, man. They've never, done anything since they introduced those characters in Fast 2 to enhance them. Whereas everybody else has really gotten a moment to shine. Now, mind you, like you said, it's kind of like a soap opera. They kill them all and then bring them back. But
I mean, they definitely with this one have moved into my territory. This is a soap opera.
You know what? Fuck it. 10, bring back Gal Gadot.
Yeah, they're all back. Bring them all back.
Here's what I think though. Going with that, so we've already brought back multiple people from the dead, right? If you've done that, then you can. If we're that far into soap opera territory, you can kill off Paul Walker, and I'm saying that with the air quotes, and then bring him back with plastic surgery and recast him. That's how soap operas work.
Yep.
I think what you said, though, I think it would have worked so much better if it was John Cena was Paul Walker's brother.
Absolutely.
You said that in the text, because he could be mad that, Vin Diesel has brought Paul Walker down. He was a cop.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he's a retired
FBI
on the run.
agent,
And then he's a retired on the run criminal. My brother would be pissed about that, too, and, blaming Toretto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have worked so much better.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I can't believe we're getting a ninth one of these.
You know what?
Vin Diesel and John Cena cannot be brothers. Their heads are such different sizes. It's unrealistic.
Well, I mean, and also, I think this really is a worrisome thing for the popularity of Fast and the Furious, because I think a big part of their popularity is that no one really can tell what ethnicity Vin Diesel is. I can remember my days back in the life, a movie come out and you could sit in the box office and you could profile as people were walking up. You could say, that person's going to see this, that person to see that. You could never pick it out with Fast and the Furious, because fucking everybody came to that. But now we know Vin Diesel is at least partially white. So I think that narrows shit down a little.
Man.
do you think he's the sister of Mia? Is it like a half-brother kind of thing?
Yeah, you would have thought, when Mia and Brian are talking, the entire first film, she'd have been, I have another brother who's just gone nothing. There's nothing about him.
Right.
And it's
He's
not
adopted.
Again, that's some shit that happens on soap operas.
Yeah, it's a soap opera.
Yeah.
So that's that's the news.
Fantastic. Well, join us a little bit later this week, 4 days after the Super Bowl, for a very topical episode on football movies. In general, we all love a good sports movie, and there's nothing more American goddamn
Talk
football.
about Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Somehow Adam Sandler was
Twice.
a pro football quarterback. Anyway.
Twice.
So join us a little bit later this week for that. In the meantime, thank you guys for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.